All right. Happy UK launch day, everybody. Today has been an exciting day. I don't know if you guys have been following Becky and Christina, but they arrived in the UK today, and they are representing Diesel Nation. We actually got an update earlier from corporate, and there's already 1,000 UK coaches. There has been a discussion in one of our elite groups. We were like, am I too late for the game? And I don't remember what they said, but there's like millions of people over there, and yes, obviously anybody getting right in, that's great, but we all know, and Charlie actually posted something in the team page today, that just because people sign up doesn't mean that they're going to blow up and take over all of UK. So now, if you've been late to the game, you're not actually late, so just get started. I mean, this is really something where we're in another country, and it's so cool to say that we've expanded, but it's just like dealing with the US. You're building relationships with people, you're inspiring them. And I know as soon as I heard that we were expanding to the UK, I started reaching out to people. But I'll tell you, I haven't signed any UK coaches because I still want to grow my business the same way as I would with US coaches, building relationships with them, inspiring them. I don't want to be just like, oh, it's launch day, sign up because you're in the UK. Because we all know it just doesn't work that way. Even if it's, somebody in the US that it takes some time. So don't give up. Keep trying to build relationships. And the one thing that I know Melissa has talked about in some other groups is that we have to really get to know their lifestyle. They have different lingo, they have different things, so get to know them, because one thing that was said at Summit is the way we presented ourselves a couple years ago doesn't really work now. And so if you're taking an old approach and then trying to apply it to people in a different country, it may not sit as well. One thing I have noticed from the people in the UK, they are really big into multi-level marketing, network marketing. However, they're pretty salesy, spam. They're really good at spamming people, I noticed, because I've reached out to people and they hit me up quick. And so this is definitely going to be, something what we're training them as well, that this is a different, type of network marketing. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that. I shared something in the team page earlier today. I've been doing a lot of kind of soul searching and really trying to craft my message so that I'm, attracting the right people and really putting out to the world what I stand for, what my message is. And, it's kind of gotten lost because I have so many chapters in my story, and I think that I've been really diluting it. And so really this book, many of you guys know that we're reading this together as a team. But if you don't have this, read it, get it, because this isn't just about your Beachbody business and the way you act as a coach, but this is really going to help you live with purpose and help you attract the right people to your life, not just business-wise, but friendship, romantically, other business ventures that you have. So anyways, this is something that I'm so thankful for Beachbody, that they really push us to, really develop ourselves and have personal growth, because it's really helping me clarify what I want in life. So anyways, that's all I have to say. Chelsea and I met in January when we both spoke at Super Saturday. I was super sick, so we didn't really get to talk. I was really sick earlier that day, and I got asked to speak as an impromptu speaker, and I can't remember if I spoke before or after, but Chelsea's really awesome. She's very soft-spoken. She's not crazy loud like me, but I really like her vibe. She's got a good, genuine heart, and we're on a mastermind call with corporate, and I asked everybody hey, who would like to swap calls, and she was the first one to step right in, and I'll actually been speaking on her call on Tuesday. And just an explanation, the reason why we're having a call Thursday night is because her team calls on Tuesday, so I wanted her to get on because she's got some really great stuff that she wants to share with you guys. And I was going to have her go live in the page, but she wants to screen share, and so we switched it for Thursday. Next Tuesday I'll be speaking on her team call, so if you want to join, let me know. And I've also been noticing having people drop in. We had Annie Reed last week drop in the team page, and this following Thursday, I'll be having another coach who's on our mastermind dropping in as well. So if you would just, check out their live feed, even if it's later on whenever you get off work or whatever, but, really they're investing their time to help us. And this is a business, which is amazing, that people actually want to see us succeed, even though we're competition. So anyways, I'll stop talking, and I'm going to turn it over to Chelsea. Do I need to give you, can you screen share from where you are?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's see. Yep, I'm good. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I loved meeting you in January, Mindy. It was so fun, and I've just really looked up to you since then, and it's really fun to connect with you like this. And I would definitely say, I saw that you're having all these people hop in on your team page, and that is so cool, you guys. Definitely take advantage of that. I've been trying to do something similar with my team by getting a lot of guest speakers, and they're just soaking it up. It's so fun to hear from different people. I feel like we all kind of say the same thing, but sometimes just hearing it from a different perspective or a different background just makes all the difference. And you'll go, oh, like light bulb moment. And so I think that's an awesome thing that Mindy's doing. So definitely go back and watch those and take advantage of that. Okay, I'm super impressed that you guys have guys on this call. Okay, we don't have any guys on our team. I'm like, wow, way to go. So my name is Chelsea, and I live in Houston. Are you guys all kind of Texas-based? Or are you all over? But you're in Texas, Mindy, right? Yeah, okay, but you're all over. Okay, so I live outside of Houston a ways, and I have 3 little girls. I have a Haley. She's 7, and then Kylie is 5, and Ellie is 1.5. And we just got this new dog who's like probably going to interrupt me because he's very attached. And he heard your voices, and he was like, "What is going on?" So anyway, he's fun. And I've been coaching for 3 years. I started when we first moved out here to Kingwood, which is a little ways outside of Houston. And I was going through a really bad depression. I didn't want to move out here, but it was one of those things where I knew it was the best thing. Like when you took all things into consideration, I knew it was the right decision for our family, but I really didn't want to. But we did it anyway, mind over matter. I just went into a depression. I left all my friends, even though we were living down in Houston and it's only an hour away, it just wasn't the same. And I was gaining weight. I was getting on the treadmill like a few times a week and just pounding for like an hour and a half, and it wasn't doing anything. I was frustrated, and I saw an ad for a clean eating challenge, and I joined. Didn't do a thing with it, but I saw these other women in the group like saying how life-changing it was. So when my coach advertised for the 21-day fix, I jumped on it, and I had never spent any money on a fitness program before, so it was crazy for me to do that, but I'm so glad I did. I mean, I think it was less than 2 weeks, I signed up to be a coach. It was kind of like I was looking for something to do with my time kind of a thing, and as a stay-at-home mom, and I needed to have a purpose that was outside of my kids, and coaching has provided that for me, and it's grown and grown and grown. And now it's been amazing. The income, although I feel like I haven't, quite hit the big leagues yet, but the income is paying for all 3 of my girls to go to a private school. My older 2 are at a Christian prep school that we have here in Kingwood, and my younger one, of course, is little. She's in Mother's Day out, but like their tuition comes from my paycheck. And that is something I'm so proud of, that I'm able to do that for my family, because it makes such a big difference. My oldest daughter has some sensory processing issues, and she needed that private school environment. And so to be able to continue to live the way we want to live and send her to private school is just a huge blessing. So yeah, that's a little about me. I just love it. It's been great. So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about how to reverse engineer your income. And this is probably stuff that hopefully you're a little familiar with it, but it's always a great reminder to kind of look at the numbers and see why it's important to keep pushing for these rank advancements. I think so often there can be a little bit of I don't know the word, I can't think of it right now, but like we think, oh, I'm in it for the money, not the rank, or sometimes we get a chip on our shoulder, like all those coaches are pursuing the shiny objects. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pursue the money. Well, guess what? A lot of times they go hand in hand, and especially as we're approaching the end of the year, I just think this is such an important topic to be talking about, how advancing in rank can really just hugely impact your income. So I will go ahead and share my screen. And Mindy, if you ever want to jump in and stop me, just feel free, because, if I'm missing something or whatever. So let me see if this works. Let's see this one. Okay, what is going on here? I'm going to do this. Okay. So can somebody unmute themselves and tell me if you can see this?
I can see it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so there you go. How to earn money as a Beachbody coach. Okay, so there's really 3 ways. Hopefully you guys know some of this already, but commissions, team cycle bonuses, and quarterly bonuses are kind of the 3 biggies for how you make your money. Commissions are pretty straightforward, and so I'm totally skipping that, okay? Hopefully, if you're a new coach, when you were brought in, you were somebody explained to you how you make commissions, and that's the most important thing when you first start. That's how you're going to first make your money, and that's always going to be present, because as you always strive to hit Success Club 5 and 10, you're always going to be having commissions coming in. But over time, if you do this thing the right way, if you're building your team well, it's going to become the minority of your paycheck. And team cycle bonuses are going to start taking over slowly, and then all of a sudden one day you'll look at your paycheck and you'll be like, wow, 80% or 90% of that was team cycle bonuses. And that's when you know you're really on the right track. And then quarterly bonuses, I'm going to touch on that a little bit at the end too. Okay, so reverse engineering just means you're creating a design by analyzing the final product. So I like to do this with my business, with my coaching business. I like to look at my goals and then work backwards. So I start with what my goal is for the year or the quarter or the month, and then I work backwards. What do I need to do? How many people do I need to reach? How many challenge packs do I need to sell? How many people do I need to convert to coaches? All that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is actually look even deeper into the numbers. So step 1, what's your annual income goal? Are you trying to just supplement and make like $10,000 a year? Would that make all the difference for your family? When I started coaching, I said, if I could make $1,000 a month, it would take our family from stressing about money to not stressing about money. Like, that's all the difference it would make. And I was shocked by, I still am shocked by like the potential that coaching has. But to me, that's all I was really looking for when I first started. So that would have been $12,000 a year. That's what I was looking for when I first signed up. Since then, my goals have definitely changed. I've definitely seen that so much is possible, and I'm kind of reaching higher and higher every month, even every year for sure. So you start there and you identify that number. What would make a difference for my family? And then you break it down by week. You go backwards. So let's say, for example, you're trying to make $20,000 a year. Divide that by 52. Hopefully I have that right. And it's $384.62 per week. Okay. Okay, this is the old office view, and I did not update this to show the new one. Frankly, I haven't quite gotten my sea legs with the new office yet, so I'm just going to show you the old one, and you guys we'll all figure out the new one. It's all good. But as you can see, this is just a snapshot from a long time ago, and it says right here, my left leg volume and my right leg volume. So every single, if you're a newer coach, this might be confusing. If you've been around a long time, you probably totally know what I'm saying. But your left leg volume is everything that's coming up on your left side. All of your coaches, all of their coaches, everything they're selling, everything they're buying for themselves goes into that left side bucket. Same for the right side. Everything is going into your right side bucket. And this is your total, and then they both add up to be your total team volume. But we're going to look at these two numbers. You might have a strong side, you might not. Some coaches do and some don't. And that's just the way it is. It depends on where you were placed. If the coach above you is adding people to one side or not. It doesn't really matter. In my experience, wherever you're placed, you can become an amazing coach with an amazing income. You just figure out what you have going for you and you work with that. So you start talking to your upline and you figure out, like, where's my volume? Which side is my strong side? Which side is my weak side? And you go from there. And if you don't have one, then you make a plan and you figure it out. In fact, sometimes when you don't have one, then more is in your control. You can kind of shape things the way you want it to be. So I don't think that one is worse than the other. Okay, so here we go. In order to earn a team cycle bonus, you have to have 200 PV on one side and 100 on the other. Emeralds, and Emerald means you have 2 coaches under you. They get $14 for every 200 to 100 matchup every Thursday, and Diamonds get $18. And that might not sound like a lot, like $18 might not sound like a lot, but when you start racking up the volume, it can be colossal. So this is where you're headed. This is your goal, is to make these $18 cycles every Thursday. So I'm going to break this down. Okay, plug in some numbers. So let's say $20,000 a year, you want to make $384 a week. So if you're a diamond coach, this is how you reverse engineer it. And then I'm going to go a little deeper and show you kind of how this works. So you work backwards and you just divide 384 by 18 and you get about 22 cycles. 22 cycles means you need 2,200 on one side and 4,400 on the other. I hope that makes sense. If you're an emerald, you need a little more because you're getting paid a little less per cycle. So you need about 28 cycles each Thursday. So 2,800 on one side and 5,600 on the other. You guys, it's so worth it to go diamond. It might not look like a huge difference, but it massively adds up. So where does this volume come from? It's coming from the coaches that you're adding on one side and the other side, either buying things or selling things or signing up their own coaches. Anything that's bought or sold on your left side and your right side is contributing to this volume. So as you can see, this has nothing to do with your own commissions. This is all team volume. Hopefully that makes sense if you're brand new. How do you get that kind of volume? You grow your team. Hopefully that makes sense by now. And then the second step is you train them to be successful. If you're just, this is the thing I love about Beachbody. If you're just signing people up like crazy and you're not really investing in them and digging into things with them, then you're going to get a whole bunch of people that don't really know what they're doing. And they're just like discount coaches, or maybe they sell things here or there, or whatever. And it is not going to translate to you making the kind of money you want to make. But if you train them, then they train their coaches and their coaches train their coaches, then all of a sudden your income starts building and you aren't having to do all of it. And this is residual income. This to me is why I'm here. I mean, I'm here to help people. I'm here to change lives. I'm passionate about our products, but this is like the awesomeness to me. I remember one time, this was before my third baby was born, before I was even pregnant with her. So I had only been in the business for maybe a year and a half. And that doesn't make sense, does it? I don't know, maybe 6 months. And I had, my husband and I had gone on a vacation to the Caymans. And while I was there, not working, I was like checking in with my challenge groups here and there. And but my team knew I was on vacation. They were all picking up the slack, whatever. It was really not working. I was enjoying myself. I made my biggest paycheck to date. And that's residual income. And that can only happen when you are growing your team and you're investing in your team. Then you have that freedom. That's what we talk about, freedom. We talk about freedom all the time. We talk about like, I have this freedom to set my work aside and go to my kid's baseball game because I have this residual income coming in. That doesn't mean that you can just like do nothing. That just means that you can do it when you're able to do it, if that makes sense. It's residual income. It's coming in whether or not you sell a ton that week. It's not based off commissions. I love that. Okay. So check this out. This, I hope, will explain it for you a little better. So this is me. I'm a 5-star diamond, and this is Chelsea number 1. Because I'll show you why. So my weak side is actually on my left and my strong side is on my right. Okay. Now, once you hit 2-star diamond, you're allowed to place yourself back into your downline. You're allowed to sign yourself back up again and open your second business center. This is amazing because then what you do is you start running all your sales through your second business center, and that translates to volume in your first, right? Because remember, the volume is everything that's going through all the coaches under you. So if you're able to plug yourself back in and then run all your sales through that business center, you're just making a lot of volume for yourself. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so once I signed up myself again, once I hit 2-star, I put myself on my weak side because I want to grow my weak side. The more I grow my weak side, the more money I make. Now, because I put it over there, then that left side of my second business center became my strong side, and the right side became its weak side. And I built my second business center to a diamond right away because I wanted, again, to take advantage of these team cycle bonuses there as well. Okay, then I signed up my husband. I did things a little backwards. I should have put him, anyway, it's a long story. You should put your spouse, talk to your coach, whatever. I did things a little backwards, and I didn't sign him up actually until the beginning of this year. But what has happened, and I don't recommend waiting that long, you should sign your spouse up right away. What has happened is I put him on the weak side of my second business center, and now he's all the way down there. Okay, so watch this. If I have a coach here on Kyle's weak side that places a 100 PV order, watch what happens. Now, Kyle is just an emerald. I haven't built him to diamond yet. He makes $14 right there. I cycle $14 because he's an emerald. My second business center makes $18, and my first business center makes $18. So a 100 PV order here on Kyle's weak side equals $50 in residual income. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so that, does anybody, let me exit so I can see your faces. How do I exit? Here, it's thinking. If you have any questions about all of that, you ask them now before I kind of jump into the next part of this. There you are. Are you guys tracking with me, or do you want me to go back to anything? You're good? Okay. I see somebody's chatting. How do I see that? Okay, cool. All right, I will keep going then. Let's see. Quarterly bonuses. And then this is that third thing. Remember I said commissions, team cycle bonuses, and quarterly bonuses. This is the third way you can make money. They just introduced, you guys, I'm sure you've all heard about the $250 bonus for diamonds. That's awesome. You can make that every single quarter if you hold your rank for 6 weeks within that quarter and you hit Success Club all 3 months. 2 to 4-star diamonds make roughly $800. 5 to 9 makes roughly $3,800. My numbers could be slightly off. 10 to 14 is a $15,000 roughly bonus each quarter, you guys. And 15-star diamonds and up, they make around like 60. Sorry, Mindy, I might be a little bit off on these numbers, but I think it's about $60,000 a quarter. Guys, that is huge money. And you make that by holding your rank for 6 weeks within that quarter and hitting Success Club each month within that quarter. That is huge. This drives me. This is like, oh my gosh, if they're giving out this money, like, I want to get it. I want a piece of that, right? Like, anybody can get this. You just have to work your butt off and earn it. And this really, I'm very financially driven. As you can tell, this is my topic. I love this. I love this. So how they arrive at these numbers is that the company profit shares with us. So they take, let's see, it's 2%. I'm not sure exactly how they came to the diamonds number, but they take 2%. And each one of these 4 categories gets 0.5% of the company's profits each quarter. And that's why they're about this much, because each quarter they're slightly different depending on how well the company did and depending on how many people qualified for it. So if there's like a quarter that maybe not a lot of people got the 5-star bonus, then mine would be higher, as a 5-star. So it's just always kind of a little in flux, but they usually land at about those numbers. I love these bonuses. They've been awesome. I work really hard to keep mine every quarter. And you can earn these in multiple business centers. Once I get my second business center to 2-star, which to be honest should have happened last year, so that's, frustrating that I haven't done that yet. It's my fault. I could be earning an extra $800 a quarter on top of what I'm already earning in my first business center to be as a 5-star, if that makes sense. And if I get my husband a 2-star, I can be earning it there too. So that's pretty cool. I coach my team to have a 2-star approach to their business. I think Diamond is like an amazing accomplishment, but if you really are going for the income, you need to be working towards 2-star. Once you get to 2-star, you get to open up your second business center. You qualify for the $800 quarterly bonus, and your volume and team cycle bonuses go way up. So what I said here, I noticed my biggest income jumps when I hit 2-star, and then again when I hit 5-star. Just like the volume that was coming up under me from my team, I just noticed this huge jump in the weekly paycheck when I hit those 2 ranks. And of course, you can't just hit them, you have to keep them. So you want to obviously be recruiting leaders that are going to not just be like placeholders. You want them to be doing the work too. That makes it a lot easier on you. So that the bottom line is, in order to make money, you need to grow your team. And you need to rank advance. Like, turn your passion into profit, rank advance. And I think as we're coming to the end of the year and we're seeing these deadlines at the end of the year, like really think hard about where you want to be by that deadline at the end of November to hit the 6 weeks going to the end of the year. Are you going to get the $250 diamond bonus? Are you going to push for 2-star? It's not too late to do that. I pushed for both of these. I pushed for 2-star my first year and 5-star my second year in the last quarter. And it came together because I worked my butt off, you know. Are you going to push? Are you going to be that motivated to like stay up late and work in the cracks of time that you have if you already have a full-time job? Because the income that you'll see as a result that next January is just so much better than where you're at now. And I'm sure I see Mindy nodding, so she probably has experienced the exact same thing. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, and let me stop this share. I like being able to see your faces a lot better. So that's all I had for you guys. I hope that made sense and that it was useful.
That was very helpful because I've tried to explain to people. I've just gotten like used to PowerPoint. So obviously if you did that, you're way better than me. But I've tried to explain it to people why 2-star is so important, and I tried to draw it out. Mm-hmm. So that was like literally I can tell I talk a lot and you're just right to the point, and you're more analytical brain, and I'm more about feelings, and like it just takes me a long time. So that for me was something that I will use to explain it to people so they don't have to listen to a whole hour conversation and drawings. But I just want to say that, you know, when I started this business, I really didn't have any big income goals. I just, you know, found that I love this. And then when I started to be able to pay, like my first big check was right after I turned diamond that month in June of 2012. And I was able to take my whole family on a vacation for like 5 days to Destin. And that was kind of like that turning point for me that like, wow, I can provide my family with memories, with things that we weren't normally able to do off of, you know, my full-time salary before. And then that's when I realized turning your passion into profits was big. And then after diamond, that's when I went diamond, Becky, my coach, went 2-star. And that's, you know, that's when her sister was like, okay, now you need to work on 2-star. And I didn't know this. And honestly, Becky didn't know either, because I was like, what's the big deal about 2-star? She's like, I don't know. And but now we have this information, and I can say too, to back up what Chelsea's saying, is when I went 2-star and opened up my second business center, that's when my income changed. And then that is what drove me being able to replace my income and be able to quit my job in 21 months. And so everybody, and we have to do the income disclaimer. I don't know what it is, but basically your time, energy, effort, and all that stuff, it really depended on it. But like Chelsea said, if you're willing to make the sacrifice, and if you guys didn't see Charlie's post in the group today, I mean, there are going to be sacrifices. Don't give up on your dreams because it's too hard, because working for somebody else, or, you know, like Chelsea was at home feeling like she didn't really have a purpose or had all this time on her hands and wanted to do more for her family. I mean, it does take sacrifice, but I mean, it's worth it. Because like she said, she was able to go and have a great vacation, have a high paycheck, and didn't mean she got to sit back on her heels, but she gets to manage her time. I will say I work harder at my business full time than I did working, you know, full time for somebody else, but I do it on my own terms. Like, you know, if, like say I didn't feel good, so I just sat around all day. I mean, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the doctor. I don't have to ask anybody to do that. I mean, that's the beauty of this. It doesn't mean that you work less. It just means you get to choose how you pick your time. But 2-star is what changed my income. 2 stars, what brought me home. 2 stars, what changed it for Becky. And I mean, you saw how she shared how you can build up your volume, how a 100 PV order, that's somebody ordering Shakeology and like, I don't know, a sample pack of Energize or something, and you can make, you know, $50 off of that. I mean, if that could just basically pay for your Shakeology, and then you had one customer on Shakeology or something, I mean, like the numbers are, I mean, there is no limit to it. I mean, unless you get capped at a certain rank. But does anybody have any questions? Right. I really like how she reverse engineered it, because people always talk about that, because Ryan said today, like, oh, so what is she talking about? I'm like, she's talking about reverse engineering. I'm not good at it. And people have talked about it, like Amy Coppola talks about it all the time, about how you reverse engineer, but she never really mapped it all out. But like the way Chelsea said, like, you know, a certain income goal, then you reverse engineer it. And honestly, I was looking at what she said as an example of like the 20,000 is like $300 something, you know, per week, and then 22 cycles. But that is too, I mean, you could make more than that, because that's just off of cycles, if that's what you're doing. Because if you are selling challenge packs, if you're hitting Success Club, if you have people who are, you know, trying the performance line or trying, you know, all these different things, you're going to make more income than that. That's just really just looking at your cycle bonuses. So I love that there's residual income. Does anybody have anything to say?
That's why I think that way, is because like the team cycle bonuses are so much more stable than commissions. And so when I first started, I just had this idea in my head of like, what would it take? How much volume on my weak side would it take for me to make $100,000 a year just from team cycle bonuses? So anything else that I sold was like on top of that, you know? And that's how I've always operated. I've had that number goal in my head this whole time. And like that's, you know, just something that I work towards, I guess, is that number on my weak side. And yeah, I mean, like I have passed that with combining everything, but it would be great to have that coming straight from team cycle bonuses so that it's more stable then, I think.
The one thing that I've noticed too, Becky had shared it, I don't know, a couple years ago, but she shared her income progression, and it wasn't something that she wanted publicly shared, but she shared it with the team. And it was so funny, like year 1 and 2, most of her money was all retail. And then year 3, 4, and 5, and 6 has been where it was higher. I mean, her retail commission was the same as it was in year 1 and 2. So she was still making that base, but her cycle bonuses were like, I mean, like, I don't know, it went up like 300%. Like it was ridiculous, like in 1 year. So, I mean, that's where it is. And I mean, and our business is about residual income, whether it be from Shakeology, reoccurring, I mean, because you're going to make income off of that, each coaches, and then that's going to contribute to your cycle bonuses. And the one thing that I didn't learn until about 3 years ago is basically the way she showed it in the PowerPoint was where you place your people to maximize your volume. I didn't know that either. The way I placed Ryan, the way I placed everybody was kind of wonky. Now I understand how you can place people, your business centers and people to benefit your you know, cycle bonuses and help other people as well. So,
did you know, you probably know this already, Mindy, but if you are ready, like at this point where this is old news to you, you can go into your graphical genealogy and you can select a specific spot for someone to go. So right now, when I sign coaches up and I want them in my first business center, I'm signing them up under my husband's weak and strong sides to cycle more volume. It's such a cool little trick. It's kind of super advanced, but it's like I didn't figure it out till a while ago, but it's very cool. So I have all these coaches funneling volume through my husband, even though they're in my first business center. So I love that game. I think it's like a puzzle. I think it's really fun.
And this is something that I wish I had to learn sooner to share with my team, because, you know, people have been talking about, you know, income and, you know, where people were. And we've had people in the, you know, in the organization who've said like, I wasn't making the income where other people were. And this is where this teaching point is, if you're going to build a business, understand this, because I could have maximized my volume, my income way more if I hadn't have waited 3.5 years to figure out about the placement that you can basically, so say you're going for you know, 2-star, 5-star, 10-star, but actually it'd be 5-star, 10-star, whatever. But you have your second business center and your spouse or something, you can go in and sponsor it on your first business center, but still, you know, help boost the volume. And if you get paid through your spouse's business center, your second business center, and your first business center, I mean, that can really, you know, increase it. And I will say that I haven't looked into many other multi-level marketing companies, but I know from hearing from other people who've done the research, I'm not going to waste my time on it, but our company is amazing because there's no cap on the income we can make, and you get paid for every level underneath you. Most of the network marketing companies, I have heard that they only pay like 2 levels deep. So it doesn't mean how big you grow your team, you're capped. And that's one thing is that that's why our rank isn't tied to volume, because our compensation plan is way different. And so I'm going to go back to what Charlie said today, is that if you're sitting on your heels with this business, you're throwing away a golden opportunity, because, you know, like Charlie said, you could live in another country and these people don't have these opportunities. This is a huge opportunity. And I mean, there's no income limit. And so, you know, go for it. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Go for it. And I mean, I look at that. I had an old coach who said, well, I don't want to, you know, keep hitting up the stay-at-home moms. Well, you don't know what the stay-at-home moms are feeling. Like Chelsea, obviously loving a mom, you know, it's not that she didn't like staying at home, but I know so many stay-at-home moms who are home because they want to be with their children. Their husbands sacrifice so that their wives can stay home and raise the kids. But at the same time, the moms need a networking. They need outside support. They also need something to give them some purpose. And they also want to give their children some socialization and some education, so that because I've seen moms who stay at home, they make the sacrifices, they love it, and their kids go to school, and it's like a huge nightmare because they've never been apart from mom. They don't know what it's like to be in a classroom setting. And so I know so many moms make the sacrifice to stay at home, but they would love to be able to send their kids to Mother's Day out or to a half-day program, and they can't afford it. And so this is the thing, is don't ever discount that, a stay-at-home mom wouldn't have time or they wouldn't like it. You never know how they're feeling. And you're doing yourself and other people a disservice by not sharing it.
I was so bored. I mean, I was like, hey, I still have a brain, you know, I'm chasing these little kids around all day, but I still have a brain and I want to use it. And it's like being with little kids is so exhausting, and it's the only place I wanted to be. Don't get me wrong. Like, I didn't want to go to work. But I was so bored, and that contributed to my depression for sure. So just having this is why I love this stuff. I'm kind of a nerd. I have to think, I have to use my brain, and it's just so great. It's so much better for my kids that I'm doing this.
I think it's better for a marriage too, because I know when I've been at home and not talking to anybody, or just with kids, or whenever my husband's hit the door, I'm like literally on him like glue and drive him crazy, because he's been with people all day and he's like, I just want to be left alone. And I'm like, oh, an adult, So I think that this adds to people's lives a lot better.
Yeah, it's true. Lots of stay-at-home moms love this job. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, if anybody doesn't have any questions, I want to thank you, Chelsea, so much, and I look forward to speaking to your team next week. And anyways, everybody have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.